And welcome back, everyone, for Wizards pregame. We got Cardo Dudley Jr. here. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And the Washington Wizards are in Detroit tonight to take on the Pistons. Detroit remains atop the Eastern Conference with a record of 37-12. They're currently on a three-game win streak, and they're 8-2 over their last 10 games. They're coming off wins versus the Warriors, the Nets, and most recently a 124 to 121 win over the Denver Nuggets. While the Pistons are looking to win their fourth consecutive game in a row, the Wizards are coming off a wire-to-wire loss against the Knicks at home a few days ago. We discussed Washington's trade deadline action yesterday in a special episode that's up on our channel, so go check that out. If you wanted to know exactly what we thought of Washington's trade for Anthony Davis and everyone else involved in that trade on numerous fronts, it was like 30 or 40 minutes of us just breaking down the trade and how it affects the Wizards and future and whatnot. So definitely go check that out. It's in the Wizards Outlook section. On the injury front, Washington's going to be without Trey Johnson, Dante Exum, and Anthony Davis. Jaden Hardy and D'Angelo Russell are questionable. The Pistons are without Dario Saric and Tulu Smith. Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham are questionable. The Pistons took game one of this four-game season series, what seemed like forever ago. 137, 135. That was that game. We saw the youngster on the Pistons have a hell of a second half. And, Detroit came back and knocked Washington off. So, Cardell, what must the Wizards do to even the season series?
What must the Wizards do? Match Detroit's physicality. Everybody in the league knows what happened when you play Detroit Pistons. It's going to be a physical. It's going to be a ballroom brawl type of game. They're physical. They defend elite across the board. So you have to be patient on offense. You got to make the right reads. You got to stay poised when you go stretches where you may not score or whatnot, because it's going to happen. And that's what they're counting on you to kind of implode within yourself offensively. And then they're just going to take you out on the offensive end, when they on offense and stuff like that. But they lead with their defense. They have their second in the NBA in defensive rating, 109.4. But they're a top 10 team offensively, 116.9. And a lot of that has to do with Cade Cunningham, who's arguably the best point guard in the league, him and Shea. Shea got the ring, so he got the edge, right now. It is what it is, but Cade has Detroit in position and possibly one day get one of those. He's all world. He does it all. 25.3 points, 9.8 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals. His 9.8 assists, by the way, leads the league. So that tells you all you need to know. He makes the plays around the better, 46% from the field, 32% from deep, but he can hit those. You can't just leave him out there. He makes his free throws 80%. So he does it all. But the one thing that's impressive about him with the amount of time he has the ball in his hands, the usage and volume with him being a primary scorer, playmaker for the Pistons, he's a hell of a defender. His defensive rating is 110. One of the best on the team. I just said they're top 2 defense in the league. So it starts with him. So you can't attack him, but he can attack you. And he takes full advantage of his size and his ability to score and make plays. So, it starts with him, man. You got to find a way to slow him down. If you don't, it's a long night. Even in that game you talking about with Denise Jenkins went off and sent the game to overtime, and then he hit big shots in OT with a career game to help them win, to beat the Wizards when the Wizards had that game won. Cade didn't have the most efficient night, but he still had like a 40-something point triple-double, something close to it, whatever. So that just tells you what it was, because he was just like, that's just his competitive nature. Like, we not about to lose to the Wizards. You could just see how he was hooping. Like, no, we not doing this. So, they got to do it again. They got to try to contain him and definitely try to keep him inefficient, because if he's inefficient, then that helps your chances, obviously. I saw Thompson, the least talked about of the Thompson brothers, honestly, but what he brings to the table is elite defense and steals. He leads the team in steals, and with 1.8 a game and his rebounding, he's not the most efficient scorer, but when he gets downhill and transition, obviously lob plays and ripping you and in the passing lanes, blocks, long rebounds. He's super athletic. He can get out over court. He can score that way, but his defense all around, every aspect of defense is just elite, man. But you got to be careful with him. I know the Wizards had a big trade, so there's a lot of guys that would be out. So, the Bubs, the Keyshons, and all those primary ball handlers, they would see a lot of him. You got to be careful. Make a decision, go make the read, live with the result. If you play with him, it's going to end bad for you, very bad. It's rare you see every aspect of defense in the NBA. When you check all about, it's all A pluses. It's rare you see that, so you can't play around. But then also, his rebounding, he's an elite rebounder. So you have to worry about him on the offensive glass more so than the defense. And that's what I mean by his athleticism and his size, his ability to just crash and get the timely put back dunks, the extra tips, the second chance points with him, Doran and Isaiah Stewart, who I'm gonna talk about in a few. You got to keep a body on him. He gets to the offensive glass and he gets them a lot of second chance points or second chances at getting points where he'll get the rebound, pull it back out, and then give it back to Cade. And we've seen time and time again with the Wizards when they allow that to happen. And it's just in basketball in general, but especially with the Wizards, when they get punished on offensive glass and they allow offensive, teams to get second chance, third chances for cracks at it, it usually results in a barrage of threes, and then they get destroyed. So they got to keep him off the glass. Next up is Isaiah Stewart. Obviously has a reputation of an enforcer, but he can play basketball, obviously, and he's an elite rim protector. As you see, he checks all the boxes. He's a rim deterrent. He alters shots. So if you're gonna go in there, you better go in there strong. You better go in there with the decision like I'm coming to hit you, just dunk, or he's gonna palm you. He's gonna move your shit back to the crowd. It's as simple as that. But he's also a good offensive rebounder. You know what I mean? Obviously, big boy, 6'8", 250. He can clear out a lot of space. He's strong. He's tenacious. That's part of how he makes his living. So he's going to move you out the way and get offensive rebounds. Again, the Wizards will have to be mentally, physically, and spiritually ready to play tonight, and they're going to have to do it a little bit short-handed. But it starts inside in the trenches. You got to control guys like that. It starts with Cade on the perimeter all overall for the team, but it'll be easier night for him if him and Doran, who I'm gonna speak on a little bit, are just dominating inside. So you have to keep him at bay, man, because he can wreck a team, he can wreck a game just by doing the dirty work. Next, obviously, new All-Star Jalen Doran, beast. We said early in the season we felt like he was an All-Star, and he proved that right. Elite finisher, super athletic. He's the main lob threat for Cade Cunningham. So when he sets the screen, gets the rolling, the slipping, the go screening, weak side, help side, whatever you want to call on defense, you have to be alert because you got to keep him from getting the basket. Because if he gets anywhere near that rim, the ball's in the air, and it's going to end bad. You know what I mean? He's going to put up a lot of points. And then also the detail about him, even if he doesn't get the ball, the gravity and the fear of him when he rolls or just even when he sets screens, the amount of assists that he generates from that is out of this world. And I think that's something that not a lot of people understand. He doesn't necessarily have to, but it's similar to Steph Curry, but just in a big man way, screening and rolling. He pulls a lot of attention with you, and that allows Cade to manipulate the defense. And he's hitting Duncan Robinson. He's hitting when Tobias is healthy and all that. He's hitting all those guys with 3-point shots, and they're wide open because the defense has to sink in again, weak side, help side, to keep him from getting dunks all game. And now they're wide open, so they're gonna have to be able. The Wizards are going to have to be able to dig down in the paint, tag him, and get back out the shooters, or it's going to be a long night. And that's why Detroit is top 10 in offense and defense. It's tough, but you got to stay with it 48 minutes as far as your defense is concerned. And then last but not least, Duncan Robinson, the ultimate sniper. He's the leading 3-point shooter on the team. For guys that get consistent minutes, he shoots 40% from deep. That's what his role is. He's out there to knock down outside shots, to keep the spacing, keep guys from being able to cheat, crowd the paint, and allow Cade to break guys down, allow him to post up, allow him to find Doran, Isaiah, all those guys. That's what his role is, man. So he can hit a barrage of threes at will. You gotta contain him. So yeah, it's a tall order, but honestly, it's a tall order, but it's not impossible. Otherwise, Detroit would be undefeated right now. So other teams have figured it out. The Wizards have to figure it out, even though they're shorthanded if they want to win. They really don't have no other choice. So, but that's what Detroit is bringing to the table. Very good team, and they'll be in the mix later on in the season.
Hey man, there's nothing left to add. I'm right with you. It starts with matching that physicality. Otherwise, everything else is irrelevant. Like it's the battle's lost right there if you don't match it.
One last thing before you go, before we get out of here, can you pull up Jalen Duran the roll percentage? I think I sent it to you. Yeah. So people can really.
I got you. I missed it when you were talking. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
All right, so you see that the screen that says for 75 A minus A plus. That's what I'm talking about. Like those are the percentages of when he does those things and he doesn't even get the ball. That's the percentile of how much points and most of the time, well, the percentage of when they score, how much they score when he just moves and rolls, because he's pulling so much gravity with him. It's similar to Steph, and you see Steph just curl without the ball, and it's like three defenders focusing on him. Now you see Draymond get a layup, or if he's got the ball in his hand, you see somebody, Moses Moody, getting a backdoor cut or something like that. It's just a big man version of that because he's so athletic and strong, and he don't need much. He don't need much room to just elevate and put the ball in the basket, man. The fear. So that's why he's an all-star, man. You know what I mean? And think about it. He's not even a good perimeter shooter. You know what I mean? Like he's just not, and he draws that fear. If he makes his free throws too. That's the other thing. So he's strong enough to put you in the basket, and he's gonna go to the line and make you pay with that. So he does it the old-fashioned way, old school big way. You know what I mean? And he's a force. So the big Sar, Vucevic, whoever else they gonna throw on them. I have you might see Champagne or Jim Watkins down there because them two don't care. They with it. So
it's a group effort dealing with him.
You got
like you said, half the issue with the gravity is when he rolls. If you're in the path when he's rolling, there's no getting out of the path to get back where you're supposed to go. He literally we're going to the basket. That's a group. It's like you said, it's literally a vacuum. And if you get caught up in it, it's too bad. I know Duncan Robinson is probably one of the happiest places he's been in his career.
Because do what he does best, just catch and shoot. Because obviously, like say, if you see Saul struggling, you see him as a teammate, I gotta go help, and then K like, cool, here, Duncan, and you like, oh shit, I need help. Now I gotta get out and bombs away and keep yelling at you. Why you leave him? You know that's the score. And it's a long night.
I couldn't get out. Hey, I went to help and I couldn't disengage. We were in the paint. There's no running into Jalen Duran and coming out the other side. Like when he releases you, that's it. Like you talked about that last time. Like him and Sar went at it. They did battle, so they need that out of Sar again this time. But like you said, it's not just Duran. So even if Sar and Duran canceled each other out, like you just mentioned, you got to keep Stu off that glass, and like you mentioned, Sar. For as much as, again, similar to how Champagne gets the paint for the Wizards and the positives, supersize it in terms of the level of athleticism. It's crazy. You know, they still got Holland over there. They're so great defensively, man. I was sitting here when you're going through it, and we look at a lot of graphics when we get ready for pregame.
Mm-hmm.
Asar's chart where every box was an A or A plus was just absurd. It was just dumb to look at. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed tonight's game. Cardell laid it out. Obviously, it's not impossible as they have double-digit losses this year, but he just told you what it's going to take for Washington to have a great chance. Right now, I think they're off to a 9-2 start. So you guys sit back, enjoy the game. Let's see how it plays out. And join us afterwards for Wizards Outlook.